of faith is disturbing.
Believe it.
What's going on, Geeks? You're listening to episode 401. We're back of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour, and I'm here with Jonathan Nichols,
What's up?
which is a new voice. I was gonna say new face, but most people aren't seeing your face right now. New voice at Geeks Under Grace. Jumped on fire. Excited. We're excited that you're here. You seemed so excited about what Geeks Under Grace is doing.
Yeah, I mean, when you first told me about it, I knew I had to join in some capacity.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So for those who don't know, Geeks Under Grace, it is an organization that is kind of run all over the world at this point, which is crazy. We have a board member in Australia, and there's no like local office or anything like that. We all kind of operate online through, now we're doing Discord. It was Facebook's version of Slack, I guess. It was called Workplace. We just changed that. Today is recording this and moved it to Discord, but there is no localness to Geeks Under Grace whatsoever. And so I was really excited to meet someone that was wanting to help out. That's could be in the same room as me pretty easily. So we're still, funny enough, not recording the podcast in the same room. We're recording it just like we used to, through different Audacity recordings, and then layering those up, which is perfect. It feels right, like we're back at home. But yeah, this will be your podcast team for a while, as far as I know. We're not necessarily looking for a third person to jump in. If someone does jump in, we'll kind of go from there. But this is kind of the team. This is what to expect. The format should stay relatively the same. We'll do games, movies, and TV. And yeah, we'll get into this week. We're geeking out about AMD Tech, James Gunn's DCU, and Squid Games. But first, we got to talk about the video games we've been playing. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Oh man, so I've been playing GTA Online again
All right.
for 10 years straight. No, so my wife just decided to
Right,
get
still.
into it. So I guess with GTA 6 on the horizon, hopefully this year, my wife and my little brother actually has been getting into it. So it's been fun.
Okay.
Kind of had to start over because I'm playing on PC and I used to play on Xbox. And then, yeah, I've been playing Bannerlord, Mountain Blade Bannerlord. Just
What is
it's
Bannerlord?
you could kind of classify it as a real-time strategy game, but you're
Okay.
basically like this dude and you got to build an army and you got to conquer the map. But you're like real time looking down on the map, moving a character, and then when you do battles, you go into like third person. And then you like swing a sword
that's
around.
cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The real-time strategy game, I guess, I think that's what it would have been, that I played was Ebony back in the day. And they have Ebony on your phones now, but it's a totally different game. I was very embarrassingly a target of like a 14-year-old kid, and there's this like, what was her name? It was a model. Kills me, I can't think of her right now, but she was like, needs saving, and I was like, yes, ma'am. Uh, but Ebony back then was like, so you built your town. It was like a castle defense, I guess, in a way. You get your troops and you would fight other castles and like try to take their castle, their towns. But what was really cool about it is you always had one that you could keep. And you could have like multiple villages or whatever you wanted to call them, kingdoms. If you lost one of them, you lost it forever. And so this game, like I spent a summer working up, this castle and the stronghold. I was working on a second one, and I got tired of the game, luckily, before anyone ever took it. But like someone could have taken the one that I had spent months on, and I would have been left with like a very like new town, fresh town that I was starting to work on. I would have had most of my resources, but they would have owned it. And you would join these alliances, and so the like point of it was to basically conquer the entire world map. and it became a stalemate between us and another group that was not. There weren't as many players, but they were paying. They were paying to like win, and so it became this thing of like they didn't have the people, but we didn't have the resources, and we just kind of. But we took over. It was just us two, and nobody else could play the map because we had taken over it.
That's fun.
It was super cool. I wasn't by any means like top tier in that, but I was playing every day for months one time, a long time ago. Miss that game. Anytime I get a chance about time I get a chance to talk about it, I'm excited to do so. And then Grand Theft Auto. So I'm excited for Grand Theft Auto 6, but I never played Theft Auto 5 because when it came out, I was so like just I was very into the church stuff and was like through all I was in that like zone of like throw all your music away,
Oh yeah.
like don't play any of the bad games, don't watch any of the bad movies, wear the Christian t-shirts. Um and so I skipped Grand Theft Auto 5 and then GTA Online came out and I just never jumped on it because I felt like I was so behind in that concept and I wouldn't have nearly as much problem with it now in my walk, but at the time I was very like no, I'm not going to. Same with Mortal Kombat. I missed a bunch of Mortal Kombat games for the same reason.
Hmm.
Um and I love like especially old school Mortal Kombat, like the old Sega Genesis
Yeah,
ones.
those are good.
Yeah. I have been playing thanks to uh Pastor Nate. I'm trying to think of his church's name. But you can look up Pastor Nate on YouTube. He said that I should play a game called Fields of Mystria,
Okay.
and it is an early access. He was not wrong. If you like Stardew Valley and you're getting tired of Stardew Valley because everyone around you is playing it and you played it 10 years ago, however 5 years ago, however old that game is, play Fields of Mystria. It is the same game. But like all the quality of life things are already there. So the shops, you can go buy stuff from the shops whenever you want. They don't close at a certain time. It always tells you where people are on the map. It almost feels like a modded version of Stardew. And the art style is really good. I almost feel like if Concerned Abe wanted to, if he was concerned, he could probably press some charges on some of the stuff because they really one to one to some of his mechanics. But yeah, like you go into a cave and you mine rocks, and it's like just literally and fight monsters, just like Stardew Valley. But
You have to check
no,
it
the
out.
game is really good. My only issue with it, again, early access. So after playing about a year of it, like in game year, you're kind of seeing it all. But more will come out, and it's great. The art style reminds me of the character, at least character designs remind me of like 90s Sailor Moon.
Real nice. Yeah, I have to check it out. That's definitely up my wife's alley. Not I like Stardew, but it's her favorite game. So
I love Stardew. Yeah, my wife's playing it right now. And I was trying to get her to play it for years, and she's never got into it. And now she's like every day. That's her wind down game. I so some people that like the listeners will know this. Some of them will. But I like almost failed junior high school because I would play Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then skip class because I was too tired to go to class. So I was playing Harvest Moon. Um, I love those types of games so much. Um, cool. We will jump into the gaming news then. And it's funny because I was like, I'll kind of like try to lead the way on these. We were talking about this like before we actually did the podcast, but I don't know most of these things. So let's start with the AMD stuff. AMD has made a couple of announcements. They're very tech oriented. I understand the term handheld gaming, but I didn't get to look into any of this. What's going on with AMD?
yeah, so basically, AMD has built a new, I guess, processor and graphic system for handheld gaming. Um,
Okay.
so it's pretty unique. They were showing off some stuff. Some of it's above my pay grade as well. But it seems like they're trying to push forward the handheld gaming, like the Steam Decks and like the other, like I think like Novo Legion was one of them that I was just looking at Best Buy. But yeah, they're trying to push it forward and make it more competitive.
Okay. The
Uh,
Switch will grab one up, and then that'll be the Switch 2.
Yeah, hopefully, you know.
Yeah, we've seen leaks. I think that was some of the news stories too, but there was nothing concrete. It was all kind of like rumor and theory with Switch 2. But
Yeah, I think a controller got leaked today. Just
yeah,
as a side
I think we'll be
profile.
seeing a lot of that
Yep.
come May. I bet.
Yeah. And then on the same time, AMD also announced their new processors and GPUs. So they announced a new processor that's mainly they're kind of gearing it towards like productivity and gaming. So if you're a content creator that
Oh
maybe
yeah,
does gaming and
perfect.
stuff, it'll work for both. They didn't have a price set for it, but it's the Ryzen 9 9950 X3D. They're starting to get real long in the names because they keep just adding new tens. And then they have their new GPU that was teased. That I think it's going to be somewhere around like the 4070 NVIDIA 4070 power wise. They're trying not to compete too much with the high end GPUs, so that's sad for some people, but also means their GPUs will probably be cheaper, more affordable for like the mid tier gaming.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. Like, I knew nothing about computers when I bought my PC, and I always thought that was weird. So I got a gaming PC, and then I tried playing like After Effects on it. I tried working with After Effects on it, and it is not like the graphics card. It'll work. It does its job, but there's so many things that it's like, yeah, it's really not like that's not this kind of computer. And I'm like, but I spent so much money on it. It's like it'll play games nice.
Yeah, that's a hard balance because like unfortunately like certain like AMD can do really well with most things, but like their graphics cards don't perform as well with Blender. So if you're doing Blender and you need to render a model, you might be able to run a game at 120 FPS, but as soon as you go to Blender, it's like slower.
And she's like, no.
Yeah, some of their processors don't work well with some of the video editing apps, which is
Hmm.
kind of silly to me, but yeah, it's kind of a hard balance.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they can get more product out there that is geared
Yeah,
towards that kind of stuff for sure.
yeah,
Sweet. And then uh, I don't want to dwell too much on this, but Tencent has been labeled a Chinese military company by the United States. Um, and yeah, I don't want to get into the politics of it all, but it is pretty crazy. And I think definitely worth mentioning um,
yeah,
that your favorite, probably not your favorite gaming company, but a gaming company is labeled a military. Um, what do they call it? Military what? Oh, just military, Chinese military company.
yeah,
Um, which like I don't know. If you look into Tencent and you just look at like all that it's tied to, like their companies just work very differently than ours. I feel like everything is kind of like owned by something else, which the United States is kind of the same way. If you start looking at like what Disney owns, it's somebody channel. It just always seems to kind of stay in the same like realm, like entertainment. Whereas with Chinese companies, it's a little bit different because it's all um kind of one big
yeah.
company in a lot of ways. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was wild. And then Notch saying he's basically announced Minecraft 2, to which I was like, oh, like another movie? They've already like talked about a sequel to the movie, but you're saying it's another game.
Yeah, so he kind of took a game dev hiatus for a while, and I've been following him on Twitter. I'm not calling it X, but Twitter for a while. He's just kind of been like tinkering around, and finally he's like, "Yeah, I've been making a game," and then he'll show a screenshot from it, and it looks like Minecraft, but it's like
Okay.
levers and chess or chess and levers or something like that, and yeah, it's just some kind of dungeon crawler puzzle solving game that uses the
It's like
same art
Minecraft.
style. Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering, I was like, how do you make Minecraft 2? And I thought like very literally just like making a sequel to the game that was, like the same mechanics. I was like, I don't know how you would like do that. Um, like it's kind
Just
of put itself in a box that way.
just everything says two, so it's like you go to craft a chest, it says chest two torch, just like
Everything's
yeah.
squared.
Yeah.
You need two chests. You need to put them into another chest. Uh, uh, cool. I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure that'll be fun. Are you excited for it or?
I, I don't know. I don't know what it is, so it's hard to be
Yeah, I mean
excited.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Once we see a little bit more. Cool. We'll get into movies then. Um, I want to know your thoughts on Nosferatu because that was something that I was like, I don't know if that's a theater movie for me. Yeah.
So I love the original.
Okay.
It's a staple in film history. That's like if you're a beginning filmmaker, you probably should watch it.
Hmm.
Because it is a silent film, and it does a lot with showing you what's happening, not telling. Granted, there are pop-ups with like text that'll say like this is happening, or it'll have the dialogue, but outside of that, the visuals do the heavy work. The new one is the same way, except to me, I don't want to go into spoilers, but
Hmm.
the first act is flawless. It's super
Okay.
strong. It really does this setting up with like for a long time, like vampires in movies were like romanticized. And so, they're like suave and like, they're gentlemen, and then, they
Hmm.
might be a monster in the background. And then this is like, no, he's just a monster. Like he's evil. And so everything he does is evil. There's no good about him. And so that part's really cool. And the visuals are stunning. I mean, there's a couple of shots in probably the first 30 minutes that's breathtaking. And then when you get into like the hour mark before the first act ends, I mean it's really just breathtaking. But after that, the story kind of starts falling apart. And I think
Okay.
it's because they're trying to stay so one to one that it doesn't quite work. But some people love it. I've talked to people that are like, "Dude, you're an idiot. This is amazing. It's the best movie of this 2024." And I'm like, I think it's a little overrated, but I enjoyed it for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, that'll probably be a home movie for me. I'll stream that one. But I was really interested in it. It looks good. I've never actually seen the original, so I feel like I should do that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good time. The
is
original, yeah.
How long is the first one? Is it also a
Uh,
few hours long? If we're like, we'll search it real
yeah, I
quick.
gotta research it real quick. Okay, it's an hour 21 minutes.
Okay.
The
Cool,
original,
cool.
yeah. I think the new one's close to 3.
Oh wow. Okay. Very curious.
No, it's only 2
I've
hours and
watched
12 minutes.
a couple different movies. I guess I'll talk about both of them. I'm just so scared that I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. I watched Lord of the Rings, um, the Battle of Roarheim.
It's close enough for me.
Roarheim. Someone's mad at me, and I know it. I watched that. I did put that in the notes, but it's cool. It was weird because it was like we watched it Christmas Eve at the movie theater. We were the only people there, um, like in that theater, and I couldn't find it for Christmas Day. I found a bunch of other movies. I called and asked them. I was like, "Hey, is there like has it just been not updated correctly?" Because I got on the website like as soon as it updated, and they're like, "No, this movie's just not doing very well." And I was like, "Well, it makes sense because it doesn't feel like a theatrical release. It almost feels like one of those Fathom event type things. Like
Mhm.
it should be like one day it releases, kind of like any other anime movie." It felt like I don't want to say it was a bad movie. It just felt like something you would stream. Like, yeah, it was weird that it was a full fledged like release. That said, it was really good. It was a lot of fun. It reminds me artistically a lot of like old Studio Ghibli stuff.
Mm.
The story is way more grounded than that. It does not feel like a Ghibli story by any means. But it does have an art style. Sometimes to its detriment, there were a few times where the art was gorgeous, some of the landscapes, and then there would be other points where it felt very rushed and like I don't, like just unfinished,
Hmm.
and some which was really strange. But No, I enjoyed it enough. I would say you probably don't need to see it in theaters if it even is out in theaters still. Um,
Noted.
on the other hand, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is a masterpiece. Probably not actually, but Sonic Adventure 2 was like it's like my favorite Sonic game. It's a 3D Sonic game. You play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, Rouge, and Robotnik. And that like it was the first time that Sonic did there were two things that it did really cool. It was that it had all of the soundtrack had lyrics, and that was really odd to me. Like as a
Hmm.
kid, I was like, "Oh, this like soundtrack is actually like good music that I could just listen to, like you know, working out or something." I wasn't thinking about working out at 12 years old, but you know, it was like really good music for in my mind. And then the other thing that it did was like story wise, it was really deep. So like normal Sonic games, you think of really like silly, kind of quirky storylines. Sonic 2 did it really well, and then Sonic '06 bombed really badly, and I don't feel like they really got like deep stories after that.
Hmm.
Um, I think Sonic kissed a girl, and everyone said nope, and they just never did anything with stories ever again. Um, but no, I would say that this probably is a more fun retelling of that story, of Sonic 2. It's definitely like a one-to-one. It's the same story.
Hmm.
Um, they took some liberties to make it goofier, I feel like. Um, not that, the game was like too overly serious ever. I thought the liberties were interesting. But very funny. Jim Carrey is still so Jim Carrey. Um, and there's two of them now playing two different characters, and he plays two different characters well enough that it's a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But that's all the movies that I can think of that I watched. I did watch I watched a lot of movies lately. The other one was it's not a big of a deal. I won't stand on it too long, but Carry on Netflix, which has a really weird beginning. It feels very awkward, and it's like they didn't know how to make a movie for a minute.
Hmm.
And then the movie gets really good. It's kind of like they had a specialty, and once they got into that specialty, the movie was great. The suspense stuff, but the beginning of it just feels like a totally different movie.
Yeah, that's on my list. I watched like a 30-second trailer for it, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. But I'm
It's
behind.
fun. Yeah, we were just kind of chilling, and so I was like, oh, watch that quick. Uh, it was all right. But we'll get into the movie news then. Just a couple things dwelling on DC. We got a Superman trailer over the last few weeks. What'd you think?
Um, Out of the 20 something million views I got in the first day, I think I was about 6 million. So I think I
Yeah.
watched, yeah, I watched it way too many times. I really liked it.
Cool. Yeah, it feels very James Gunn, and I know some people don't want that, but I think that's exactly what DC needed.
Hmm.
I think it contrasts really well with Snyder. I think that's probably people's problem with it. Without like after Guardians 3 specifically, honestly, I like have a lot of faith in what James Gunn can do. Because he can make these goofy characters and make everything kind of like light and fun while still having something that pulls your heartstrings. Um, and I think that's what Superman needs to be, is something kind of light and fun that just kind of, tugs away when it needs to.
Yeah, I totally agree. People are hating on the suit. I like the suit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I like the suit and I like the reasoning for the trunks. Did you hear about the reason they're doing the trunks is because Superman wouldn't want to scare kids and he would wear something goofy so
yeah,
that kids would like, he'd be more approachable. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I love that now. Like I
yep,
thought the trunks looked a little silly, and then I heard that and I was like, it's so on brand for Superman to be like, oh no, I'll try to be a little less, you know, intimidating. Uh
yeah. It feels like to me they're really trying hard to capture the heart of Superman.
yeah.
And it's not that like Zack Snyder didn't, it was just a different perspective.
Hmm.
And so I feel like uh I don't know, I kind of feel like this is what we need right now. It's real lighthearted or more lighthearted, and I feel like it's trying to be more hopeful.
Hmm. Yeah. I think I think it'll do really well. It's really interesting to kind of contrast that to you have Matt Reeves' Batman, which I've seen some rumors that maybe um, James Gunn's going to talk him into doing that. And at first, I hated that idea, but the more I'm seeing this Superman and how lighthearted it is, the more I kind of want Matt Reeves' Batman to like interact with the Superman. I think that would
Yeah.
be really cool. Um, my only complaint there would be I would recast the Joker. As much as I loved, I can't remember his name. He was in that deleted scene. Barry.
Is it Keegan or something like that?
Yeah, he was amazing. I mean, he did a great
Yeah.
Joker. I just don't think his Joker would fit James Gunn's DCU. Whereas the Penguin and that Batman, I think that could totally fit in it.
Yeah, and they could always keep the Batman as a Elseworlds
Elseworlds,
style.
what they're calling it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then bring on, have Pattinson be the mainline Batman, but make it its own
Oh
thing.
yeah, that would be a good way to do it. It seems James Gunn said something about this too, of like he doesn't really care about canon too much, anyways. He's like they want to do the Elseworlds things, but he was like, "What is canon?" Because he wanted to put Peacemaker,
Yeah.
process Peacemaker through into his stuff, and he was like, "Well, canon isn't really like, you know, that big of a deal to him. It's like it's more about the stories." And
Mm.
so, yeah, like you're saying, if they just take Patterson and kind of like, "Oh, this is Matt Reeves' Batman, but he's also this Batman for this storyline," I think that would be a really cool way to do it in a way that like they haven't really done yet.
I want to see the trunks for Batman as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Superman's just like, here, you have to wear these. I'm not doing it. And then
Yeah.
just cut to him wearing them.
Yeah.
I love, and they kind of tried doing this in Snyder's, but I think it would be so perfect to just make Batman incredibly dark and brooding, like just really scary, intimidating in his own movies. And then kind of have like early Hulk effect of like being so dark and brooding that it's goofy around everyone else. Like
Mhm.
put him in a room with Superman and Flash who are joking around and he's just like over there, being a little emo boy. I think is perfect. Um go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, some of my favorite interactions in the comics is just like that. Um,
Hmm.
like he's just like super dark and brooding, and they're all having fun, and they like look over at him, and he's just like killing the mood.
Yeah.
I think the animated series did a really good job with that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about I think he says something, flashes something to the effect of like, where were you? Parent teacher conference? And Batman just doesn't say anything. It's just dead silence. And he's like, "Oh, okay, okay." It's so perfect. Yeah. I want to see more of that, I think. And James Gunn, I think will nail that for sure.
Oh yeah,
Um, but yeah, I kind of got on a Batman kick. I like Batman, but Superman looks good. Speaking of Superman, we're also getting a Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. You said should we start filming
I
in
think I
a
think
couple
this month.
months?
Yeah. Uh,
I'm excited because I know Jason Momoa is excited. He's officially been announced as Lobo, the alien bounty hunter that he looks so much like, and is going to be able to nail that performance.
it's like he just kind of walks around looking like Lobo, just a little less pale, and it's like
Yeah.
I guess you should take that as a compliment. I don't know, like.
Right? I do a lot of Renaissance festivals, and they have this thing where you throw tomatoes at a guy, and he insults you. And one of his insults for me was "you mini Momoa," and I was like, "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." And he was like, "Will you please leave?"
You killed his joke.
Yeah, I was like, "That's so nice." Yeah, I can't think of a better role, and I know Jason Momoa said even when he was like cast as Aquaman, he was like, "I would rather have been Lobo, but this is cool." So
Yeah.
I'm glad he's getting his wish. I think he'll do great. Cool. We'll get into TV then, and I guess we'll stick with the DC stuff. I've been watching Creature Commandos, which feels very on par with Peacemaker, I guess, in tone, but like not in line with the Superman trailer that we saw. I'm really interested to see how everything kind of starts to mix. Um, I don't want to give anything too much away, but know that it is a very MA show. My wife pointed out, and I wish she wouldn't have, that Rick Flag Sr., he's one of the main characters. So Rick Flag in Suicide Squad, it's his dad, looks an awful lot like James Gunn. And I was like, that's weird.
Thanks,
um,
you ruined it.
yeah, watching the show, the implications of him making it look like him are even weirder because Rick Flag Sr. is just, off being a dude, and it's odd. Uh, but yeah, I don't want to give anything too much away, but it's the Bride of Frankenstein. I like they've always said, it's not Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein's monster. Um, and like I've always heard that, but his name is Eric Frankenstein. Uh, is the monster's name. So technically he is Frankenstein, and the Bride of Frankenstein is the Bride of Frankenstein. And the Weasel, who we saw in Suicide Squad 2. And then I'm trying to think of all the names. I don't remember what else's names. The Weasel, though, is like a really good example of James Gunn taking something really stupid. Like if you watch Suicide Squad 2, it's this like goofy, like deranged looking weasel that's running around. And then in the first few episodes of this, he's also like this deranged little weasel running around that seems pretty useless. Like he's just a feral animal. And then you get his backstory, and now I love Weasel so much. So for James Gunn to be able to make you care about something so dumb, I think it's a testament to what he's going to be capable of.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. That's another thing on my list I'm behind on.
Yeah,
But I've been seeing some
it's crude,
spoilers.
but yeah, I was like, I'll try to avoid getting too into it. But what have you been watching?
Uh, Squid Game season 2. That's about it. My wife wanted to watch it. She didn't just get into K-pop, but because of K-pop and all the K-pop stars that pop in and out of the Squid Games,
Okay.
sh she was like, I think I want to watch it. So I just started season 2, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll stop and wait for you to catch up. So we binged it in one day, pretty much, the first season, and then we did the same thing with the second season. We basically
Wow.
just, yep,
The show's
spent all
great.
day. Yep.
I've not seen season 2 yet, but season 1 was amazing, and kind of random when it came out. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any trailers for it. I definitely wasn't like excited for a Korean TV show. Like that's just not something I would normally watch, and everyone started talking about it, and I fell in love with
Yeah, so what's funny, when I first saw the ads for the first season, I thought it was like a game show, like a Japanese style
it.
game show. And I was like, okay, I don't understand why people like this. And then one day I was on Netflix and it popped up and I just hit play just to see. I didn't watch any trailers. I only saw the logo and heard people talking about it. And I was in for a shock, to say the least, because it was not
Yeah,
a game show.
it is not a
Well,
game show. No.
it kind of is, but
Well, yeah. Have you heard there was a game show on Netflix. It's probably still there. That's like an actual like live game show based on Squid Games.
yeah, I've heard of it. I
And
haven't
then
watched it,
like
but
contestants started suing because it was not safe.
oh
Which
no.
is the irony is amazing.
All right, Mr. Beast.
Yeah. I have another really great story specifically for you too. Clayton, he's our sound guy at our church. Um Jonathan and I go to the same church, and we were at Switch, uh, which is our youth group at our church. That's what they call youth. And I don't remember the song, what episode it's on, but there's a song. And when the song ends, people die in the episode. And so we were playing some kind of like youth game, as you do, and our sound guy, I don't remember his idea or mine, but we played it. And like so many kids got excited, and we're like, none of you should know what this is. It's like not okay that you guys recognize this. That the show is brutal. Be prepared for that. Yeah, if you are like, oh, Squid Game, I'll check that out. That sounds like a nice, fun thing to watch with my family. Be forewarned.
Yeah,
It's rough.
it's real rough.
Yeah, it's brutal. I don't think there's any like nudity or anything in it. It's just
I don't think
very
so.
dark. Everybody dies. Yeah,
Yeah. Spoiler. No.
yeah. I was like, that's kind of a spoiler, but if you don't know what
No.
Squid Games is yet, everybody dies. um, cool. We'll get into TV from there. Uh, all right. Is that all that you've seen TV wise?
Y- Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been super lame lately. Not watching much.
No, I get it. It's been a busy season. Holiday seasons are always pretty crazy.
Mhm.
Um, this is our only TV story that we got for this week. Uh, Squid Games again, but season 3 is coming summer or fall 2025, which is this year now. Like we're in 2025. I read that I think like a week ago, and I didn't process that that would be this year. So that's nuts. I saw some commentary on how the show itself is kind of be like it's very counter greed and very like counter like capitalism in a lot of ways, but the show is just completely capitalizing on
Yep.
its viewership and
Yeah, I mean, I think the message of the show, there's a lot to pull from. And like I said, I don't want to go in spoilers with it, but um it does get into like somewhat anti-capitalism,
Mhm.
but then at the same time Netflix is just milking it.
Yeah, let's make a game show and we're gonna
Yep.
take release 2 seasons in a year.
Yeah, like, ooh, yeah, capitalism is bad. Here's his merch. Here's the second season. Here's a video game. We're gonna pay
We hear
Mr.
you,
Beast.
but look how much money we're making.
Yeah, they're like, here, Mr. Beast, host a Squid Game. You know, like they're just like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be in Roblox, Call of Duty, like it's everywhere.
That's so funny. So yeah, be looking forward to that. I'm sure there was other TV news. It was pretty slow, but it usually kind of is during the like, beginning of the year. Everyone's been on vacation, so there's not a lot of articles out there right now. Um, are you geeking out about anything else this week?
Uh, no.
No,
I
same.
was, I was, I was racking my brain for anything else, but no.
No. I don't think I am either. So, we'll end the podcast there. Kind of a shorter one, but it's our first one. It's been a while. Uh, Jonathan, where can they find you at?
Yeah. So I am on most social media networks under at Different Lens Media. So that's our
Nice.
kind of a video production company, but we make short films and stuff like that. So
That's super cool.
that's where we post it.
Yeah. And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.